It was early summer, aka Canadian spring. I was on my way to work on the 401, cruising at about 120 on the fast lane. The sun was shining and one of my favorite songs were playing on the radio, so I was singing, okay, correction, shouting with it. All of a sudden, I couldn't feel my arms. As if I was looking at someone else's arms, I saw my hands start to slowly steer the wheel towards the left, towards the median. Terror came over and my mind snapped into fight or flight mode, scanning anything around me that could stop what potentially could end my life at any moment. I realized my body became paralyzed as my foot was still steadily on the gas, going at 120 kilometers an hour. The only thing I was able to notice was a commercial playing on the radio, so I instinctually started to repeat word for word until my mind regained back control of my body and managed to safely steer myself off the first exit I saw. Hoping I wasn't being possessed by any demons, I called my therapist as soon as I got to the office and told her everything that happened. She asked me a few questions and paused and said, "Jamie, your body is telling you you're at your max. You're overwhelmed." What? But I feel fine. What stress? Are you sure I'm not possessed? Throughout the day, I started to recap what was happening in my life. My marriage was falling apart. I was working for a sexist, verbally abusive employer. I hardly had any friends. I was turning 40, I was sinking in debt, and I wasn't getting along with my family. Okay, maybe I'm a tad stressed. Flashback to 30 plus years ago. Growing up in a traditional Chinese family, my parents were very strict and had extremely high expectations. They were always busy working because in the late 70s, they wanted to make it in North America. I wasn't allowed to play with my friends after school or outside, so as a source of entertainment, I became the family clown. According to my parents, I wasn't the smartest, so in order to get them to smile or laugh, being funny was the only way that I had any shown result of approval or feedback from them. I remember around 8 or 9 asking my mom if I was pretty. My mom said, "You're not ugly, but you're not pretty." I remember how that felt and how that moment started to shape how I saw myself valued and my worth in this world. So my attributes of being nice, kind, and funny were the only things that ever got approval from my parents or from anyone for that matter. From that childhood realization, I started my journey as being the nice person. Because frankly, being funny is a lot of work. I always felt a little bit different. That kindness and compassion was so tightly knit into my DNA that it became a natural state for me. However, learning as a child, attaching a value to being nice was the source of all my pain and suffering. Tit for tat didn't quite work after all. The truth is, how could I be kind and compassionate to others when I wasn't open to receiving kindness and compassion for myself? With that realization, I started my introspective journey. And I pressed the reset button. I started to let go of all expectations. Anytime I felt to act kind, I asked myself whether I was operating from a place of fear of upsetting the other person, or it authentically came from a place of compassion. The more I practiced, more compassion grew, and the more it became available to everyone that I could give it to. That all pointed to my purpose and value in this world, to share and give compassion. Throughout the months that have passed, we have all been challenged to operate away from fear. A tough challenge as our ego instinctually kicks us to fight or flight mode. However, humanity now has an opportunity to bring us all back to what we're naturally meant to be, compassionate beings. Power and ego will never always conquer any threat or pain that we personally face or globally face. So, I ask you, are you going to stand up with compassion? Will you be compassionate?